Hey everyone, it's Jamel Gibbs, your family-oriented entrepreneur. Welcome to another podcast episode. This is the Business and Investing Podcast where you learn all things business and investing related. Now, part of being in business is taking care of your body, right? If you're taking care of your physique, then it's my firm belief that you can accomplish anything. Years ago, I used to do natural bodybuilding competitions. My last show was in 2004. And I actually won the overall for that particular show. If you watch my recent video that I just put out a couple of days ago, about a week ago at this point, somewhere mid-video, I had a picture of one of my bodybuilding competitions, and I was holding a trophy. That one was Natural Mr. New York City. Huge accomplishment in my life. And, I use those same principles from bodybuilding to apply it toward building a business. I believe that if you can go through a bodybuilding competition, go through what it takes to even enroll into a bodybuilding competition and have that type of physique, you can accomplish anything. So the way you take care of your health and fitness applies to all aspects of your life. Now, I know this is an investing channel. I know that this podcast is more based on business, but to me, if you don't take care of your health, then you're not going to be able to enjoy your financial resources as well. So I'm going to start opening up some other things that I believe will help you in your business in general. Some more life things, let's call it that, life things that you need to understand in order to be able to have a well-rounded life, even outside of business. So you can enjoy your life. You can enjoy your family, right? I have videos on my channel where, my wife and I, it's called Married to an Entrepreneur. Check out that playlist. But we talk about family things, right? Because having a well-rounded family affects your business as well. A lot of different things. It's more than just business. It's about life and being able to live a fulfilled life. And that's exactly why I wanted to bring long-term friend, natural bodybuilder, expert bodybuilder, expert fitness trainer, does plenty of different things, does a huge amount for the fitness community. He's actually my current bodybuilding coach, fitness and training coach. I wanted to bring him on board because what he's going to share with us today is going to help you to make a transition wherever you are in your fitness journey or your business journey or your whatever journey you're on. The health and fitness aspect of that journey is super important for you to be able to really be fulfilled at the end of the day. Kevin Richardson, what's going on, man?
I'm good, Jamel. I'm good. So good to see you, and pleasure to be here.
Likewise, brother. So it's been a long time, man, that you've been doing this. I know you started bodybuilding at a really young age. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself, and then we'll kind of jump into why what we're going to talk about is important.
Absolutely. My name is Kevin Richardson, and as Jamel, said, I'm a personal trainer. I've been a personal trainer now for the better part of 32 years. And over that period of time, I've also competed alongside Jamel, actually, back in those days as a natural bodybuilder. And I've had the privilege of being, a successful personal trainer. I've worked with UNICEF. I've worked with celebrities. I've had the honor of, literally training, over 1,000 people over the past 30 years. And I am considered to be one of the world experts in high intensity training.
That's right, man. One thing I will say about Kevin, and he's being really humble in that introduction, this guy is, 48, 49 at this point, Kevin?
48.
Every year he posts a new picture on Facebook. And this year I said, I got to reach out to Kevin. This guy looks better every single year, and he's doing it naturally. And it's unbelievable, right? 48 years old, you would never think Kevin was 48. Trust me, if you want to become friends with him on Facebook, I'm not sure if you post that stuff on Instagram or not.
Sure.
But look at his pictures. Every single birthday he has, he posts a new picture, and he looks better than the year before. It's the fountain of youth. right?
Yeah, it exactly is. And, you know, to tie in with what you're talking about in terms of investment, I mean, the majority of my clients, I do train some celebrities, but the majority of my clients are CEOs, the majority of them. And they recognize that it's important that you have that foundation of discipline, and you also have that foundation of health, because like you said, if you don't have your health, number one, you're not going to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. But number two, hard work takes practice. And hard work isn't easy to practice. And one of the things about taking the time out to work out, to really go to the gym, to really push yourself, is that you're getting yourself accustomed to the idea of doing what's uncomfortable. And I always say this. People tell me, Kevin, you know, how do you be successful, you know, as a personal trainer or anything else? And you're around all these successful people. What do you all have in common? It's the same thing. You do what's uncomfortable to get to where you want to get to. Because staying where you are, all you have to do is keep on doing what you're doing. If you want to go further, if it's business, if it's your physique, it doesn't matter. You have to push it. And as far as like natural bodybuilding is concerned, most people, they go to the gym, they work out, they look okay, and they say, all right, this is all right. And then they kind of settle for it. What I try to do, I try to show what it looks like when you push. That's why I post that picture, you know, the pictures on a regular basis as I get older. So you can see that the more you do, the more you pay into yourself, the more it rewards you. And it's not about the look. The look is the externals, but the internals are what matters. The internals being the fact that you're able to be present in your life, the fact you're able to enjoy your life, the fact that you're never tired. I mean, I don't have coffee. I don't drink alcohol. I don't need anything like that because, you know, you wake up and you're kind of happy and energized all the time. And it takes a while to get that because, of course, when you're young, it's about the abs, it's about the biceps. But as you get older, you start realizing, wait a minute, you know, it's about something longer than that. This is a marathon we're doing. It's not the sprint. Sprint is great, but at some point you start pacing yourself and realizing, well, I got some years to go and I want to make sure that quality years.
So, you know, just before we hopped on this podcast, I was telling you exactly what you were just talking about. I said, Kevin, it's been a month. You know, it's going on a month at this point. I said, I feel incredible. I'm not tired. I don't even have to have coffee. Everything that you just said, I repeated it. And at the end of the day, I haven't felt like this in years, man. And I've had personal trainers over the years and they were good as well. But there's something special about, you know, someone who understands what it's like to be over 40. I don't feel like you know, I'm about to turn 42 in a few weeks. And I'm like, you know, the way I was working out before, it was taking a toll on my body. Now I actually feel fulfilled. I'm working out less, eating, you know, a little less than what I was before, but I feel incredible. And that's, you know, this is kind of what I was looking for. I can do this long term. I told my wife I'm going to eat like this for the rest of my life because of the way I feel. You know what I mean? So, how did you end up in health and fitness in the first place, Kevin?
Well, that's an interesting story. I was a really skinny kid. I was 125 pounds. I was 6 feet tall, and you know, I come from a family of bodybuilders. My dad was a bodybuilder. My brother was a bodybuilder. There was my backyard was a gym where all the guys back in Trinidad and Tobago, where I grew up, who went on to be competing in the Mr. Universe competitions, they started off in my backyard. And so I'm surrounded by all this, you know, this bodybuilding, and I love comic books, which is why, you know, I dress like this all the time. And I would see these comic book characters in the pages, and I always wanted to have that look, but something wasn't clicking. I needed some sort of a motivation to do this. And then when I was about 8 years old, I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator. And I remember him standing up, and something just kind of clicked and said, all right, that's what I want to look like. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. And so when I was 14 years old, I was old enough to go to the gym and start working out. Second my mom said it was okay for me to go to the gym, I was in there. And I went in there, you know, all out, 6 days a week, training, you know, hour every time. And I didn't see much results. I was expecting to, you know, to blow up, to look like Arnold. I expected to look like the guys in the magazines. And I could kind of extrapolate and realize that was not going to happen. Like, I was on a path that was getting me better and bigger, yes, but that type of size, that type of look wasn't going to happen. And as I got a little bit older and I got a little more indoctrinated into the gym culture and kind of taken in by everybody else in the gym, they started telling me, how it works, which is, drug use. It's about drugs. And for me, coming from the place that I came from, which was a very spiritually oriented place, and that, yes, I wanted to look like a superhero. Yes, I wanted to have that physique. Yes, I wanted to be able to walk and, have that sense of, being imposing, especially in Trinidad, as a kid. It's a dangerous place growing up back in those days, some of those areas. You want to have that. But to me, you think about, and even at that young age, what price the prize? And, this was a path I was going to walk. My body is a gift that I was given. It's a sacred gift. And if you're given a sacred gift, you can't abuse it. You have to take care of it, no matter what. You have to be, uncompromising in your integrity. And I would do this thing when I was a kid, and I still do it to this day, which is I would talk to myself in the future. I would try to imagine what I was like at 30 years old. What would the 30-year-old self say to me to make decisions as to what I should do? Because, you had all those guys saying, take this drug, take that drug, take this drug, take that drug. And that 30-year-old guy, he seemed happy. He seemed really happy, and he wasn't using any drugs. And maybe he wasn't a Mr. Olympia, maybe he wasn't the best bodybuilder on the planet, but he was happy, he was whole, and he could hold his head high and say, whatever I have is from the hard work that I put in. Mm-hmm. And my thing was, okay, so I may never be Mr. Olympia, but I'm going to put the work in, and I'll see where it goes. And back then, especially in Trinidad, there were no natural bodybuilding competitions. So I had essentially made the decision, because I wanted to compete as a bodybuilder, to never place first, to never be able to stand up on stage and blow everyone away. I resigned myself to, I have to start focusing on me just being better than I was yesterday. That has to be my trophy. Every day when I wake up, I got to make sure I did all the work I needed to do so that whatever it is, that the next day, when the sun rises the next day, I'm a little better than I was before. And, I discovered a whole different way of training. I stopped listening to anybody in the gym, did my own thing. I started working, at high intensity training. I went from training 6 days a week to 3 days a week. I trained for about 15 minutes. And of course it sounds, absurd, but it was what was really working. And it's what I started doing with my clients. And I kind of made this bubble around myself where I wasn't focused too much on the result. I was focused on process. Because what I found was when I started weight training, when I started lifting weights, was that everything got better. Mm-hmm. I was heavily into martial arts. I've been doing martial arts since I was 9. I started studying ninjutsu when I was 14. I've been teaching ninjutsu since I was 17 years old. And everything just got better. I mean, just so much better. I got faster and I got faster in my techniques. I thought I would maybe slow down. That didn't happen. My endurance went up. But not just that, there was a sense of, and it's hard to describe, and I like to put it in superhero terms, because I feel that the superhero metaphor is something people can relate to. It's almost like you're bulletproof. You have this sense where you're walking around and you just feel complete in yourself. And you feel that, no matter how hard life will be, how bad today might be, I'll be okay. And I like that. And I love the fact that in the gym, every single time I went to the gym, you get to that place where you're really at that limit. You're really like pushing yourself above and beyond, and you're getting used to pushing yourself above and beyond. And for me, ninjutsu was the beginning of learning that I could do a lot more than I thought. And the gym was the perfect outlet for that. I could go in there, I could put a weight on that bar, and if I thought I can get 20 reps, it means I could get 30 reps. Right. Just have to do it. Don't think about it. Just do it. It's uncomfortable. It's hard, but just do it. And then the reward was fine. You're looking better, but the reward was really just that feeling, that sense that I did everything possible. And that kind of started to take away from the idea of, just being big and being cut and being muscular. And I came to the U.S. When I came to the U.S., and I went to Fifth Avenue Gym, which is where we met. Yep. Which was the mecca of natural bodybuilding in the United States. And they told me about natural bodybuilding competitions. And I said, these things actually exist. And they were like, yeah, sure. And I was like, sign me up. And that was the beginning of my natural bodybuilding, journey. I had no idea it existed. But had I not gone down that path of saying, I'm going to focus on the idea of integrity, and that I'm not going to go down the easy path, I'm not going to take drugs, I'm just going to keep on doing what I'm doing, I'm going to go on my own power. And as far as being able to be successful in natural bodybuilding, I look back at that kid, and I'm thankful to that kid version of myself who was at least mature enough to make those decisions. And I think that as someone who, from a very young age, got used to the idea that hard work and integrity equals results, from a business standpoint, and I've been flown out several times as a guest speaker for BNP, BNP Financial Services, and one of the speaking engagements that they flew me out was the businessman as an athlete, because it's the same thing. That's right. Athlete has to practice, but if an athlete wants to be an elite athlete, has to practice more than everybody else, has to practice harder than everybody else, has to have a routine, but also based on taking care of themselves, because the athlete realizes that their body is essentially their instrument that they need to do for whatever sport it is, whatever activity it is, to succeed. And in business, people tend to forget that. They tend to forget that the instrument driving you forward is the one, that allows you to speak. It's the one you're breathing with.
That's right, man. And a lot of people tend to focus directly on the money aspect of business. And like you said, they forget about everything else, because there's a lot more in order to really live a fulfilled life. And that's kind of why I wanted to introduce this stuff to the channel and to people who are looking to get started in business or who's currently in business. Because if you add different aspects of success into your life, you'll live a well-rounded life and have a well-rounded business as well, man. What type of mindset shift does it take in order to be able to accomplish this stuff?
I think you have to start from a place of being able to accept failure.
Yep.
You have to be able to get to that place where you're used to falling on your face. If you're not used to falling on your face, you're not gonna go in those places and take those paths that no one has cleared. You're not going to take those roads that no one has paved. You're always going to stay on the easy side. It's only so far you'll go. One of the things about training is that, like I said, it's uncomfortable. I love to train. Absolutely. Both of us, we could train. If we could train every single day, every hour of the day, we would. We don't, but if we could, we would. But when you train, you break down. At the end of that workout, you're humble. There's a humility that comes to it. And I think that humility that we get when we train, and no matter how hard we push, the iron always stays. The iron's always fine. We're the ones at the end of the day who are messed up. The iron is fine. But from being in that place, from getting to that vulnerable place and putting yourself out there, putting everything into it, that's how you go forward. And in business, that's how it works. Yep. There's no shortcuts. It's just, you have to have that mindset of doing what's uncomfortable, because whatever field you're in, there's going to be a lot of things that you love to do.
That's right.
But there's going to be a lot of things that you don't like to do. And if you aren't able to do things you don't like doing, doesn't matter how much you like doing the other things, you're not going to do them, which means you're not going to go forward.
That's right, man. So what obstacles do you think our listeners will face when it comes to making a transition into taking better care of themselves in order to be better business professionals?
Number one is time. It's always time. There's never enough time. If you ask people, what's the number one reason why they don't work out, it's because they don't have enough time.
That's right.
And one of the things that I've been able to do, which is why I work with so many entrepreneurs and CEOs, is that the workouts I do, they last for 10, 15 minutes. Yep. 3 times a week. And that's all you need. And we're not talking about, well, that's what you need to go, at a low level, just lose a little bit of weight, put a little muscle on. That's what you need if you want to be at an elite level. Everything else, as far as what you do with it, is up to you and how much you put into it in terms of your diet. But as far as actual training, you don't need that much. And we need to kind of bring that message out there, because let's be honest, there's a lot of guys, a lot of women out there who are looked upon in social media and in the fitness industry as the icons of fitness, but they're not successful.
Right.
They're not successful because they spend all the time in the gym. You can't be successful if you're just in the gym, working out, taking care of yourself all the time.
Yep.
How rounded are they? What's their family life like? I've worked with so many bodybuilders at the very top level, and one of the things that made me also never regret my decision to use steroids and go that way is that when I met these guys, when I met these women, they weren't where I wanted to be. Mm-hmm. With the exception of, Lee Haney, who I think was able to navigate that idea of family first while still being able to be, successful as a bodybuilder. It's just not something that you see out there.
That's right.
And I would, we have a blended family I have 4 kids and 1 stepson. There's no trophy that I would ever trade for the experiences that I've had with them, and the importance also of showing them that if you are going to take a path, there are going to be times when you want to stray from that path because you can get what you want in the moment. But integrity is stay on that path no matter what, even if it means that you're going to have to get less, because in the end, less doesn't exist. It's an illusion. It's something that distracts us. You have to try to find a way to make everything you do spiritual. And if you have time for your business, you have time to make money, you have to have time to take care of yourself. Because if you're going to take care of your family, you got to take care of yourself. If you don't know how to take care of yourself, you can't take care of your family. Oh. I worked in social services for 17 years. I worked with the formerly homeless, and, people will always, ask me, what would you do? How did you work with people with mental illness and substance abuse? How did you help them? What did you really do to help them? The number one thing I did to help them was take care of myself. Because I understood if I wasn't in a sound place, I couldn't help anybody.
That's right, man. It's kind of funny. I just mentioned a video a little while ago where I talked about some of the, I called it the cheat code video, right? The cheat code to success. Notice how this conversation is going, guys. Everybody listening to this podcast or watching this on any of the video platforms, notice how this conversation is going. It sounds exactly like my principles, right? So I specifically said in that video, I said, if you're not taking care of yourself, how can you take care of your family? So my health and fitness comes before my family, right? And that way I know that I have the capacity to take care of them. So really it's an unselfish thing that I exercise, that I take care of my nutrition, because it's really going to benefit them in the long run, right? So the reason I bring that up is notice the type of people I surround myself with as well. So the people you surround yourself with are generally going to be like you. You surround yourself with successful people, you become successful. You surround yourself with like-minded people, you think alike. I didn't have this conversation. I didn't have to bring this up to Kevin. He said it himself, but he mentioned one of the key principles that I talked about in that video. This is bigger than just real estate. This is bigger than just business, right? This is about understanding what it takes to become super successful and being around the types of people that are like you as well, so that you can improve yourself. And bodybuilding, natural bodybuilding, does that. You're literally improving yourself, and then everything else around you. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean?
And you're around people who are on that same path. And one of the best things for me was competing as a natural bodybuilder, because it made me realize I wasn't on my own. It wasn't just me. There are other people on this path as well. We are going together. I'm not this crazy kid doing this thing kind of lost in the wilderness. There's a community of it, and community is important, and you have to have a good community. There's a saying in Spanish, dime con quien anda, yo te diré quién es, which is, you tell me who someone walks with, and I'll tell you who he is. And so it's important that you walk with people who are on that path. And, coming back to taking care of yourself, a lot of people, especially women sometimes, will feel like, well, if I take care of myself, I'm taking away time from my family.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't work that way. It's the other way around. Taking care of yourself means you can take care of your family. And, family is an important root in it. That people ask me all the time about my career and, what I did and what I've been able to do over the years. And they say, well, what was the motivating factor? Like, you have all these kids, 5 kids. They're like, if you didn't have those kids, how much further along would you be? And I'm always shocked when they ask me that. And they're like, you're not getting it.
That's right.
If I didn't have these kids, I wouldn't be doing this.
That's right.
I would have been relaxed. I would have been laid back. I wouldn't have been working hard. But every single time that the going gets rough, because you have the fact that you have family to take care of, and you want to make sure that they have more than what you had, you push. Every time I'm in the gym, I'm working out. It's getting hard. I don't really want to do that next set. I got a family to take care of. I got to take care of this because this is going to take care of them. So it helps me push through. If you put everything together, and I think that what I always talk about is, unifying everything, making everything not just physical but spiritual. Think about it from a different plane because it's bigger than us. You mentioned that this is bigger than real. It's bigger than all of us. This is about something that you're really, really tapping into. It's what makes you fundamentally at peace with yourself. And at the end of the day, in a place of contentment. I'm not talking about you're happy all the time, but contentment, where no matter what happens, you're good.
Yep.
You're in a really good place. And that's something that, if I could take people, and put them in my body, they'd be happy for 5 seconds because they look like me. If I could take people and have them do what I do, which anyone can do, they'd be happy for the rest of their lives.
Again, man, you sound just like me, man. It's incredible. It's incredible. They say great minds think alike, and it's true, man. Because if you watch any of my stuff, you'll see the conversation is generally the same. The key components are still the same. Even myself, I have 5 kids as well. Everything that I do benefits them at the end of the day. So it's never about us. It's about what are we doing to help benefit. We're putting the weight of the world on our shoulders and saying, okay, we got this. And we're gonna pull you right on up with us. You know what I mean? And that's what this is all about. That's the key motivating factor. That's the ultimate goal. When you can help other people make accomplishment in their lives, have a better life, then you've really reached the pinnacle of your success at that point.
And I think that's what you're saying is it's straight on, but it contradicts the traditional idea of the entrepreneur, which is this very self-centered man or woman who's just trying to take care of themselves. No. Listen, we've been on this planet for hundreds of thousands of years.
Yep.
And the successful human being for all that time, and even to today, is the one who understands the importance of community, the importance of selflessness. I mean, I'm a personal trainer. I work with, a very, very affluent population of very successful men and women, which is why I have a part of my training service and business devoted to charity, making sure people who cannot afford personal training and who need the services just as much as somebody who has a lot of money does has access to it. That's important. If you're not focused on serving your community and helping your success help broaden the success and help people realize the dreams in your community, you're not in the right place. And there's only so far you can go. Financially, you may do all right. How's your family going to be? How are your relationships with your friends going to be? How are you going to sleep at night? All these things, all these troubles can just literally be gone by just doing something similar, which is being unselfish. But again, being unselfish, it sounds like a contradiction because we're talking about fitness and taking care of ourselves, but it's not. That's the whole point of it. Being unselfish also means that, sometimes I don't want to take care of myself. I don't want to eat properly. But I have an obligation, number one, to take care of people. If I'm going to pull the world is heavy. Yeah. I gotta lift some weights and make sure these guns are able to pull it. Yeah. I have to do the work. Gotta do the work. And like you said, it's not just us. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I had the honor of meeting him once, and I was completely taken by the fact that he sounded just like Arnold Schwarzenegger, looked just like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was almost like someone doing a parody of Arnold Schwarzenegger. And for all the things about Arnold, you look at someone who was an immigrant who came to America, ended up being the governor of California. And I remember, as someone, I came from Trinidad, I had $500 in my pocket when I came here.
How old were you when you came here, by the way?
I was 20 years old. Pregnant wife, $500 in my pocket. And I said to myself, Arnold Schwarzenegger took the hard work equals success lessons, came to America with nothing, and look where he got. So I told myself, you know what? I got nothing to worry about.
Yep.
I train just as hard, if not harder, and I will train just as hard. I will take care of myself. I'll do whatever I have to do and that and the other. And I'm going to do something that I'm going to do one more thing, which is I'm going to make sure I stay focused on my community. And I've been really blessed to have been able to help so many people with what I do. And for me, it's all about whatever I learn and, all the years of training people and the nutrition aspects of it, the training aspects of it. The only thing that I really could say I'm concerned about is if I die tomorrow, there's so much that I know that will go with me. And so my life work is about doing whatever I can to share it as much as possible. And it's not just the community, it's my family. Just like you, I have a gym right here in my house where I live. My wife works out here. All my kids work out here.
Yep.
This is not just something that you do on the side. This is who we are. We are is about self-improvement. Who we are is about sometimes gotta push the limits a little bit. It's not about the abs, not about being in great shape. All those things come afterwards. It's just about having that mindset of, we're going somewhere.
That's right, man. So let's talk about some of the key principles that our listeners can take, that they can use in order to be able to go from where they are to where they want to go at this point. Like, what are some of the things that they can do? Maybe 3 to 5 steps.
Number 1, make time. I didn't say take time. Make time to take care of yourself. Tell yourself, half hour, 3 times a week, you're going to start working out. Okay? The other thing you're going to do is you're going to accept the fact that your working out is going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable physically. You're going to be sore when you first start off. Eventually you get into it, you're going to love it. But when you start off, it's going to be uncomfortable. But also schedule-wise, it's going to be uncomfortable. There are things that you used to do you may not have time for. But you have to make that time. You put that time aside. Put that time aside 2 times a week. And then what you do, the last and most important thing, is control. Start to focus on controlling your eating. Now, eating has been, and nutrition has been taken into this really complex idea of how it should be, whereas we've been eating very, very well on our own, like I said, for hundreds of thousands of years. Stop the alcohol, get rid of the processed foods, and only eat to the point where you're satisfied. That's really all you need to do. That's it. Like literally, if everyone just did that, I wouldn't have a job anymore. And I'd be the happiest man on the planet. If no one ever needed me ever again, I'd be the happiest man on the planet, like a superhero. Any superhero who didn't have to fight crime anymore because crime didn't exist anymore would be happy. And I think that's kind of how, it's really just that simple.
Yep. Get rid of the processed food, I think, is a huge one. The problem is we have so much processed food these days. People think it's normal to have that. That, people gain weight because of it. So the protein amount and all of that stuff, how much does that matter in this whole equation?
It does. You want to have a predominantly high protein diet, and you want to keep your carbohydrate levels moderate. So high protein, moderate carbs, moderate fats.
Gotcha.
That's it. And really just nothing more complicated than that. Just keep it simple.
And honestly, training 3 days a week, I was a huge advocate before I started training with Kevin about a month ago. huge advocate of, 5-6 days a week of training. Now, I have to be honest, man. There were days I couldn't do it because I had a lot going on, but you get burned out. But more so than that, I'm okay with training 5-6 days a week. What was really getting me was my joints, the aches and pains and things like that, trying to keep up with it because I'm training every body part twice a week. Now I could train my whole body in just 3 days, 20 minutes, 20-minute workouts. Get the entire and this. I don't want you guys to discount this type of workout because it is extremely difficult. And I've been training for years. This is hard. This is probably the hardest thing I've ever done. Trying to complete a workout in 20 minutes is really hard.
Yep.
Can't even push. I have to be honest, man. I can't even push the same amount of weight I was pushing before. I had to lighten the weight up. But again, I feel incredible. I really do. And you can see the difference in my energy level. You can see the difference in my body. So follow these 3 to 5 steps. You got to get your mind right. Get your mind in the game in order to be able to do this at the end of the day. But, if you really want to take it to the next level, this is where you have to take it. This is where you have to bring yourself to be able to make everything else work. Now, Kevin, if our listeners wanted to get in contact with you, how can they do that?
Well, you can go to my website, naturallyintense.net. And of course, you can find me too on Instagram, Naturally Intense. You can find videos, videos of me on YouTube. Again, look up Richardson, Naturally Intense. I try to be everywhere, so I try to be as much as possible. Just like you, try to spread the good word as much as I can.
Absolutely. I'm going to link all of that in the description box for you guys so that you can go ahead and check Kevin out as well. I'm also going to link Kevin as one of my favorite pages on my YouTube page so that you guys, if you can't find the links in the description box, which you should, then go to my channel and just check the featured pages and you'll find Kevin there. Fantastic information, fantastic page. I've been going through the stuff myself, and I think that you should reach out. I think that this is definitely going to help you guys, not only in a physical sense, but in a mental sense, to be able to carry it over into your business as well. Super, super important. I can't tell you how much bodybuilding over the years has helped me succeed in life in general. And again, if you can do that, if you can create the discipline that bodybuilding allows you to create in yourself, then you're going to be able to carry that over into your business because your business is going to command discipline from you in order to be able to make it work. And the problem is a lot of people lack the discipline it takes to be able to really become the better version of themselves in order to really catapult their lives into something that, can be honestly special. So I'm going to highly recommend you guys check the links in the description box, visit Kevin's page, learn as much as you can, reach out to him, have a conversation with him. And maybe
always happy.
Absolutely. And maybe even, I signed up a month ago for the program. Check out the program. It's fantastic. It's hard. It's not easy. I'm not expecting you guys already know how, when I put out information, I'm specifically telling you it's going to be hard because nothing is easy in life. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Building a business is hard. Getting in shape is hard. Having a family is hard. Sticking to a spiritual routine is hard, right? But if you stick with it, you'll be a better version of yourself at the end of the day. So reach out, all right? Have a conversation. Do what you got to do. It takes a coach and it takes discipline to be able to accomplish what the coach provides for you, but it builds integrity, like Kevin said, right? It builds the success that you need in order to be able to live a fulfilled life. So make sure that you guys reach out. Are you reading any books right now, or can you recommend any books that can help mindset wise or whatever you feel benefited you throughout your career?
That's a difficult one. I mean, when it comes to self-help books out there, I tend to shy away from it because I tend to see a lot of self-help people.
So comic books. Let's recommend a comic book, man. I'm into comic books as well, man. That's some of my favorite stuff.
Batman. Anything with Batman is always good. Anything with Batman is always good. And you know what I love? What I love the most about Batman is the fact that whenever people talk about what's your favorite superhero, Batman all the time. I'm wearing Spider-Man shirt right now, but Batman's always been it.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because he has no powers. I love the fact he has no power. He doesn't need it. And even if, every once in a while he'll come across something that will give him powers, doesn't need it.
That's right.
What he has integrity, and he has that thing where no matter how hard things get, he keeps on going. And I think that, if you ask me, what kind of a book, what book should you read? Honestly, the book that probably changed me the most and made me the most what I was when I was younger, I wanted to be a priest. The Bible. Like literally, as much as cliched as may sound, and I don't talk that much about, religion that much in terms of the fact that I tend to have a very secular audience. But the reality is, if you're asking me like what books really helped me, that was it.
Man. I live my life according to Bible principles, man. So I understand that. You know what I mean? And I think that's the pinnacle of it all, man. That's where, if people just did that, we'll be living in a much better world. Period. At the end of the day.
But it's easy to talk about it. Doing it, that's the hard part. That's the hard part.
And it's not really that hard. Again, it's a mindset.
It's not. But the thing is that if you're gonna follow a spiritual perspective, just like if you're gonna be successful in business, you have to be able to walk that road by yourself. You're gonna look left. You're gonna look right. There'll be nobody else there. Everyone else is doing something else. Everyone else is having a good time. And you walking this lonely road, deserted all by yourself, but you're going towards the light, and that's all that matters. And that light will always be there for you.
When it gets brighter.
What? That's right. The further you go, the brighter it gets. And
that's right.
The brighter it gets, the happier you'll be. And everybody around you will see you shining too, and they'll say, "Wait a minute, that person over there, they're shining. Let me go walk in that direction too. Must be something over there." And that's how it works.
That's right, man. So if you had to provide our listeners with some last words of advice, what would those words be?
I would say that we live in a world right now where so much of what we see as reality is entertainment. It's stuff on social media. It's someone trying to sell you something. It's someone trying to, to put themselves a little bit further up. If you want to be successful, if you really want to be successful, in anything, be it bodybuilding, be it business, be it family life, you have to be able to stop and move up. You have to be above it. And the only way you're going to be above it is if you're doing the work to improve yourself. Because if you're doing the work to improve yourself, you don't have time for social media. People always ask me, "Kevin, did you see this on TikTok?" Never seen TikTok. "Kevin, you see this on YouTube?" I hardly watch YouTube. "Kevin, you see this on Instagram?" I post on Instagram. I don't have time to look at Instagram. You gotta listen. If you're going to be doing the kind of work, remember, if you don't have time to work out, that means you shouldn't have time to even know what's going on social media. If someone names, a celebrity, you shouldn't even know who that person is because you're so focused on taking care of your own stuff. If you want to be successful in anything, it's a lot of work that's required. And we look at an Olympic athlete getting ready for the Olympics, and you see just how dedicated they are, and we admire that, how myopic they are, just going forward, doing what they have to do every single day. Being successful in anything is the same as being an Olympic athlete. You have to be doing so much work. You can't tell what's going on around you.
That's
right. You got to be focused on doing what you have to do. And more importantly, you have to be willing to do the work and put the work in. And that work, as hard as it is, not only will it get you where you want to get to, but in doing the work, it'll make you a better person.
Absolutely, man. Love it, love it, love it. Couldn't have said it better myself. Kevin Richardson, man. We really appreciate you. The legendary Kevin Richardson, man.
Thanks so much for having me, man. Really appreciate it. And Jamel, we go way back. We go really way back. I remember when you reached out to me, I was so happy because you're part of the family, man. Part of the Fifth Avenue family.
Likewise, brother. Listen, check out Kevin at naturallyintense.net. Also, check the links in the description box so that you can reach out to him. Get started today. This is where it's at. Change your mind, change your body, change your life. At the end of the day, guys, this is what it takes to become successful. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to like it, subscribe to this channel, click the notification bell, share this podcast as well. If you're listening to this on a podcast networks, make sure that you guys share it. And I really appreciate you guys' support. Let me know what else you want to see. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let us know how much you enjoyed this podcast, or if you had any other questions. We'll be happy to answer those for you. We'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.